Welcome to the Natural Parents Podcast, where we will cover all things faith, health, family, and wealth through a biblical perspective of putting things in life that matter most back into order. We're reminded in Matthew 6:33, where Jesus said, "But seek first the kingdom of God and all of his righteousness, and all of these things will be added unto you." Join us each week as we focus on what truly matters most in this life and passing those values on to the next generation. This is the Natural Parents Podcast with Ryan and Abbie Hukin. We have a natural, like, it's not trendy, right? Like, people say, oh, I got my detox smoothie.
Right. And I think it's like kind of been put into that. And so maybe it's not taken as seriously as it should be, or
like
or
eye
just
roll,
how
like,
important.
she's detoxing.
Yes,
Yeah.
right. And it's like, yes, it probably has good things in it, but making sure your drainage pathways are open, your lymphatic system is moving, all of that is super important to do every day. But then also like parasite cleanses with full moons and different things like that.
Well, and as to skip down, there's a mentor of mine. He always said, man, if you could help people sleep better and poop better, you'll help them with anything, because we have a natural rhythm of detoxing. Like, again, I know it's trendy. It's like tongue in cheek, eye roll, like, oh, so-and-so's doing a detox. It's like, yes, those actually help because they might enhance the detoxification process of our body. But if you are listening to this right now, your body is detoxing from the environmental chemicals and stressors and things that we put in and on our bodies right now.
Yeah.
God gave us a liver. He gave us kidneys. He gave us a bowel system that actually gets yucky, gunky stuff out of us. It kind of funnels down from that as broad to specific, to where even in our sweat glands, we're getting toxins out of our body, right? Yeah. But how many people do we talk to that just don't even sweat?
Right.
Again, going back to the hormesis thing, like, do we expose ourselves to high temperatures?
Right.
Do we move our bodies a lot to enhance that sweating?
No, we got to be comfortable.
Yeah, just stay 70 and fluorescent, y'all. 70 and fluorescent. So detoxification is huge, and there's a ton of supplements, there's a ton of resources, but it really comes down to doing what your body needs in that moment in time. And so there's specialists, there's people that focus in on this as to what your body needs. There's heavy metals, there's parasites, there's environmental toxins, there's stress toxics, stuff that's just from an emotional stressor that's toxic to your body. So all these different things, we have to be getting bad stuff out. And we got to make sure that even just that, if you're pooping every day and you're sweating on a regular basis, I think you'd be really a lot better off on the detox. You'd be on the right road as of addressing this as a pillar. So moving on, hydration. I always say hydration, if you're not drinking filtered water, your body's the filter. And then we got to go back to detox, right? Because now your body's taking in all these toxic things in our water supply. There's a website, gosh, it would be perfect. Maybe we'll put it in the show notes. You can go and look up like the quality of the water in your zip code and things like that. So we've got to be drinking clean quality water.
Even well water, which is a common misconception, and even one that I was like, well, if it's well water, it is definitely going to probably be better than the tap water. However, if you think about it, your well water is an accumulation of all the water runoff from everything around you. So if you live, quarter mile from a dump, or if your neighbor fertilizes heavily for his animals and his
herbicides and pesticides,
then all of that is just going to drain in and be in the water table and therefore in your well. Yeah. So it's good to get them tested just so you know what you have that you're going up against, but also just to get filtered water.
Again, that can be a simple one, but it can also feel very overwhelming. Oh, golly, do I got to go get this, thousands of dollars, whole water filtration system, all this stuff? Just starting with drinking filtered water is a great place to start.
Yeah.
They make reverse osmosis, gravity filtered water things. That's, a couple $100. You set it on your counter and fill it full of water, and the dirty stuff goes on the top. It's got these amazing filters, and clean stuff comes out in the bottom, and it's 99.9% pure water, H2O. That's it.
Then remineralize.
And then you can remineralize it. Yeah. So there's plenty of studies out there that suggest that best practices with that is to put some quality minerals back into your water. Again, a supplement that you can do, but it's worth it. It's going to taste better, and your body's going to absorb it that much.
We'll also put that link in the show notes too, of minerals that we recommend, because I know whenever I first started, I wasn't. So I was just drinking DI water, and I was like, I don't even know what a mineral is. Well, you want me to sprinkle some salt in there? And so that may be really helpful too for quality minerals.
Cool.
I think we conceptualized about for a while and discussed trying to actually decide if detoxification or nutrition belonged in spot number 2. I'm not so sure the order at all matters that much. I just think it's worth talking about. But I do think my personal decision is that detoxification has to come before nutrition, because if you aren't getting the bad stuff out of your body, even down to like the cellular level, like our cells are their own little systems where they have their own waste products and they get yucky things out and they use energy and then they remove toxins from themselves. If you're not getting that stuff out of your body, it doesn't as much matter what you're putting in. I mean, definitely, we're going to talk next week about nutrition and pillar number 3, but if we're not getting the bad stuff out, I'm not so sure it matters what you put in, except for you're just putting more and more bad stuff in if you're not focusing on it. So they're like 2A, 2 and 2A. I mean, they literally go hand in hand, detoxification and nutrition, but I do think they have to be their own pillars.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I can't wait for next week for you to talk about animal-based versus plant-based and different things like that, but we won't get into that today.
For sure.
So why aren't people detoxing as is? Like our bodies, can detox. They have detox systems within them. So why do we need a pillar of detox?
Yeah, so obviously this isn't about the whole trendy like let's get on a cleanse. I mean, although those obviously have their merit, no doubt. But this isn't the trendy, oh, I'm drinking my detox smoothie kind of conversation. I mean, again,
Sure.
there's a role that plays and that's good, but your body was born knowing how to detoxify itself. We have a liver, kidneys, an immune system. Our body is constantly getting rid of bad stuff, ideally. There's definitely things in our world, this could be a podcast in and of itself, that inhibit our body's ability to detoxify itself.
Name a few.
Okay. Things like anything that disrupts liver function. So medications, alcohol, stuff like that. Liver is the number one
Yeah.
detoxifier of our bodies. Go down the rabbit hole a little bit further. Things like electromagnetic fields, that's EMFs, things like that. Us being so out of sync with our circadian rhythm. I think it was last week we talked about, is air conditioning a net positive on humanity? My question is, now for this week, are light bulbs a net positive? Electricity as a whole. I'm not saying we should live in the Stone Ages or anything like that,
But it sounds nice.
yeah, maybe I was born in the wrong generation. But then we couldn't have a cool podcast where we talk
Right.
about all things
Can you
health and
imagine?
vitality, right? So we gotta make the most of the time, so to speak. But there are so many different things, yeah, for sure. And that's where I think we can go today, is just talking about things that we can simply do to actually enhance our detoxification
Yeah.
processes.
So what are like a handful of things that we could do today that could enhance our detoxification? And are these things the things that are the reasoning behind why we may not be detoxing the way that our bodies were designed to?
Okay, yeah. So I'll talk about this, a couple of really, really simple things, right? Because there are complicated cleanses and supplementations and protocols and all this kind of stuff, but every person has to work with a practitioner on something like that. Like I would not just throw a 500 or $1,000 cleanse at someone that has 3 to 6 months worth of supplements and dietary guidelines, all this kind of stuff. Like if your body's not actually prepared for that, like let's back it up a little bit, right? So a few really, really simple things that you could do. Again, I said it earlier, be mindful of what you're putting into your body. So alcohol, everybody knows, like that's really hard on your liver. Be mindful of that. Like that's a weird one that I think sometimes people hold on to. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because it's like, what's the point?
I want to say a comment, but I'm trying not to.
Why?
I don't know. There's a thing, but I haven't really talked to you about it before. I mean, I think I maybe have a little bit, but now I have to say it because I'm in too deep. On a completely different note, you can totally edit this out if you don't want me to say this. But also, another point to be careful with alcohol is because when you go under the influence of alcohol, drugs, anything like that, it allows for
dark energy
Hmm.
into your.
Well, I definitely think that's something we could talk about.
I know that just went really weird though.
That's
really.
okay.
I just
Our
couldn't not
listeners are
say
here
it. I
for
don't
it.
know why it was like word vomit. I had to.
Well, I think that's a nudge, a spiritual
Yes,
nudge,
I think so.
and I
So,
think when we
lots of
ignore those,
reasons.
we shouldn't ignore those things. If you feel inclined to say something to someone, I think we should say it, as long as it's under the proper
Yes.
spiritual influence. But
Okay, go
yeah,
on.
no,
Go on.
let's.
Yeah.
I mean, for a second there, that's worth unpacking. Yeah, I mean, if you are not yourself, if you are not your own, how many times people say that? You know what I mean? There's a lot certainly to unpack there. That's something to be mindful of on the alcohol front. But just purely from a physiological standpoint, it is very difficult for your body to function like it's supposed to. There's a chiropractor. So in chiropractic, we talk all the time about something called innate intelligence. It sounds a little woohoo, but ultimately your body is born innately knowing certain things. Like a baby knows it needs to nurse,
It's
right?
like literally they
Your body
crawl up
knows
to
it
mom.
needs to. Yeah, our kids did that. The primitive
Yeah.
crawl, so to speak. That's really cool. Worth noting. If you place a brand newborn baby on a mother's belly, away from the breast, I mean, this baby who can't even really hold its head up will start inching and worming and trying to get up to mom's breast because it knows innately, I need to eat now on my own. Like no one told it that.
No.
Like it
So
used to,
cool.
for 9 and really 10 months, baby got fed through mom's umbilical cord. Mom, everything mom put in there. I said, you made our babies out of pickles and ice cream. Now baby knows just because it hit room air, went through a birth canal, all this stuff, like it now knows, oh my goodness, I better start crawling.
Mom's got the goods up top.
Yeah, absolutely. Milk trucks here. So, okay, back
Innate
to where
intelligence.
I was. Innate intelligence. Your body innately knows how to detoxify, but alcohol will really inhibit it from doing so. So will things that are excessively processed foods, sugar, added chemicals, okay, unfiltered water. So have you ever seen one of these analogies where they take like a soda or a coffee and they put it in a cup and then they pour like a giant bucket of clear filtered water into that cup, and then eventually that cup's no longer like coffee or whatever, right? It's just clear water. I always say that you could either drink filtered water or you could make your body the filter. One way or another, why would you add the extra step, right? So like try to be mindful of what's in our water, the water supply, different things like that.
Especially if you have city water, but even well water, you know, if you think about it, if you say you live on land, you know, and your land is fertilized and, you know, all of that soaks down into what's called, I guess, the water table, right?
Herbicides, pesticides, all that kind of stuff. And they'll talk about trace amounts and that it's not there. But again, trace amounts is in a vacuum. That's in an isolated event where we're testing this 1 cup of water one time.
And if you can control it, control what you can control so that the things that are out of your control, you don't have to have anxiety around. You can just be like, you know what? My body does what it is supposed to. It can detox, it can filter whenever you can't control it.
Yeah. And so, okay, 3 things. Watch things that are hard on your liver, medications, alcohol, things like that. Eliminate, I would wholeheartedly, I mean, we're going to talk next week more about nutrition, is eating more animal-based or more plant-based or somewhere in between, the better option for you. I don't know. What I can tell you for sure is that eating real food, that's where it starts. If there's an ingredient label, and there's, especially if there's any kind of preservative, you know, in it, that is only going to inhibit your body's ability to detoxify from its own natural byproducts and waste products. Like every second, like you have 37 trillion cells in your body right now listening to this that are burning through energy. What happens in your truck or your car when you're driving down the road and it's burning fuel? What comes out the other side? Exhaust fumes, right? Well, the government says we have to have all these mufflers and converters and DEF systems on diesel trucks and like all this kind of stuff. They want to go to energy, clean energy with electric vehicles, all this kind of stuff. But like, we don't do anything to talk about the way our bodies are filtering the toxins in and out of them. It works the exact same way. So doing that. So then hydration is super important, but being mindful there again, is there toxins in your water? But just being hydrated. So the other major player in detoxification is your kidneys. And if your kidneys are not able to process and eliminate the toxins out of them because you're so dehydrated, that stuff's just going to stay in you. I don't know if you've ever been dehydrated where you actually feel like stiff,
Mm-hmm.
like that's because those toxins aren't getting out. They have nowhere to go because there's no water to take them out of your body
Filter them
anymore.
out, to take them out.
Okay, so that's a topic of discussion. People talk about hydration all the time. Is how hydrated is hydrated enough? I was told at one point in time in my life, and I bet other listeners have, is like, well, you're hydrated when your pee's clear. Like, have you ever heard
but
that?
What do you drink? Water is what color?
Yeah, clear. And so if it's just going through you, you're not actually eliminating toxins. And so the last one on my list of things you could be doing right now is actually sleep. We're going to get to that in a second, but it's relevant here too. Okay, we're talking about pee now on the podcast, but urine is super concentrated first thing in the morning when you wake up, right? And it's not necessarily that you're suddenly dehydrated. I mean, you might be less hydrated after a night of sleep, but your body worked its tail off all night long, filtering out toxins from your body. And so, again, this is where a little hydration tip: first thing in the morning, after you have to go to the bathroom, first thing in the morning when you wake up, go and drink 16 ounces of water
with salt
right off the bat. Some sort of, the salt adds minerals and electrolytes back into your body, but hydrating right off the bat, that is super, super good for enhancing your body's detoxification processes because it just detoxed all night long. So the other one, sleep. Other than sleep is exercise. So I feel like I've just jumbled all the way through this list. I'll give you guys a recap again. But exercise is so crucial because it enhances those same detoxification pathways. But another excretory system that we have is sweat. You know how many people I talk to that it's actually difficult for them to start sweating?
Can I say that was me?
Yeah.
And I was, we would talk about it. It would be so hot out. We'd be working. I'm like, I'm not even sweating. And I can proudly say I sweat.
No, that's awesome.
Like no woman really wants to sweat. So what is
You
it?
glisten.
Like I glisten, I sparkle. But yeah, that's because we did these exact same things because if anybody, like I had a lot of healing in detoxing and getting my foundations laid right. And
absolutely. And that's a point. Okay, so sometimes people want me to go into more nuanced details of detox things and cleanses they can be doing, but again, if you're not sweating and pooping on a regular basis, you have no business jumping into a heavy hardcore detox.
No,
I'm sorry, I'll just go on record, this is a molehill I'll die on, I guess, but if you have a practitioner that's like jumping you onto a bunch of supplements, but you're not currently pooping and sweating on a regular basis, you're not ready. And so those are two things. So something you can do outside of these more complicated lists, sauna work, coffee enemas, different things like that. We can go into some of that kind of conversation.
The E word.
Oh, sorry. That's a question. If that's a big question for you, definitely check it out. Message us, ask questions, different things like that. But
what, enemas?
Enemas, yeah.
Wow.
Coffee enemas. That's one that definitely probably raised some eyebrows when people hear.
But I'm telling you, and you go using your Folgers coffee.
Please don't.
We can recommend a mold-free, toxin-free coffee because you don't want to just do anything. So
use any kind.
We can definitely talk about that. And actually, I've been thinking about making a post in our Facebook group as well because I have had some people ask me, and I just think it would be educational.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so there are mixed things. If you just go Googling coffee enemas right now, you're going to get a lot of different information. You're going to see scientific studies. They'll say, oh, it's unknown whether or not it works, doesn't work, XYZ. Coffee enemas date back into the very early 1800s as a possible option for enhancing medical treatments and different things like that. But the person that really made this more famous is a doctor by the last name of Gerson. And Dr. Gerson actually runs a clinic in south of the border Mexico that treats people for cancer. And their protocol is actually juicing, like you drink unfathomable amounts of juice, like fresh pressed and squeezed juice, and take a certain regimen of supplementation and medications and things like that, and then actually do coffee enemas. And their premise is that the portal vein that runs from your liver to your colon is enhanced something like 700% increased production in things like glutathione and detox antioxidant nutrients and things like that, where your body is just going through and just searching for anything that doesn't belong and getting rid of it, and it just really boosts you up. Other benefits people talk about is energetic, feeling mental clarity, just feeling lighter and better,
Yeah.
to actually get that stuff out of them, so to speak, too. So the E
Great.
word.
Yeah, it's great to do around a full moon too. Parasites.
Parasite detox sometimes. Yeah. Okay, so parasites on a detoxification conversation here. We're getting into the deep stuff now, guys. Parasites, if you have a pulse, you have parasites. There's really no question about it. Parasites, you can have intracellular parasites, you have microscopic parasites, but you can also have those ones that people like to post pictures of that are like, they're like nightcrawler looking.
But not you are made to have parasites. They
have
serve a purpose, but they can't be out of balance.
Right. And actually, one of their primary purposes is like consuming. They like to eat the toxins that our bodies
it gives me the heebie-jeebies
get rid of
thinking about that.
But yeah, if they get out of balance, if they get out of whack, you're going to have some symptoms of that.
Yeah.
Things, crazy things, joint pain, crazy, muscle fatigue, brain fog. Just all sorts of stuff can be going on if you have a parasite problem. And you should, on a regular basis, especially around full moons, have some sort of regimen that's addressing keeping those parasites in check. Something super simple. Again, going back to, this isn't just fluff. Like, watch eating sugar, because parasites really, really like sugar. So, different things like that.
Don't we all? Us and parasites have something in common.
Right. Yeah.
No, I think that those are really good. So of course, you said limiting alcohol, eliminating processed foods, hydrating with good filtered water, maybe adding salts, electrolytes, minerals back into that, because a lot of us are going to be mineral deficient, exercising with making sure that we are sweating, and then getting good sleep. We didn't touch on this a whole lot, so I want you to elaborate more, but even the sleep part can aid in detoxing. There's certain, Danielle always says that there's times that you better be in bed and asleep because your body is detoxing during those times.
Or it should be. And
should be. Not, and if you're not, if you're staying up late,
Yes. And so this is where I think we got out of order, but I started talking about sleep. But yes, sleep matters. Not just, hey, get good sleep or enough sleep, but pay attention to when you're going to sleep. If you're going to sleep at 1 a.m. every night, like, you're missing a few hours of vital detoxification processes where your liver kicks into gear because the sun went down at a certain time. Like, we are so in tune with nature and so in tune with the world. Our bodies are consciously aware of what's going on with the light cycle and all this kind of stuff. And so if we, again, this is a joke about the light bulbs thing, is like, if we stay up all night long consuming UV light, telling our bodies it's still daytime, like, we're missing out on the opportunity to be detoxifying our body. And again, not like the trendy detox, like green smoothie kind of thing. It's like, literally, your liver is serving a purpose. This is why your pee is concentrated first thing in the morning, is that your body spent its whole night detoxing, and you should be getting 7, 8, 9 hours of solid sleep on a perfect, world.
New moms, this does not pertain to you.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, when we get to the sleep pillar, I'm gonna have to bring another expert in, because that's the one I'm the worst at. Like, I'm not here trying to say I'm perfect at this. I have a rest problem, as in, like, I don't like to.
Yeah. It's not accomplishing enough for my Enneagram 3.
Yeah. There's more to do. The moon's bright tonight. We could just stay up all night and get work done.
Might as well.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Especially if you're trying to enhance your vitality and longevity. I mean, that's really what we're talking about. It's just the element of prevention, right? So many of these different things. One I would love to talk about, if you're up for it, is it's called autophagy, or some people will say autophagy, but fasting. Have you heard about this?
No.
Okay, so there's a study and multiple studies that are starting to link fasting with like cancer suppression.
Wow.
I
You did
saw-
a fast just, 4 months ago, 5 months ago? You did a water fast for how many days?
three
Really cool.
3 days.
Really cool.
It was good. I felt an effect. Both. I mean, there's a physical desire for that, but there's also a spiritual element.
We had to hurry up and eat dinner before you got home.
Yeah, you guys did. They're like, don't tempt me,
Yeah,
please.
get the smells
one
out
night
of
I
here.
got home and it was so, so tempting. But it's also, there's an accomplishing effect of that, feeling in that too, is saying like, listen, body, we're going to rely on God right now, not your physical desires. So there's a benefit of that. But it's crazy. You're like, natural killer cells and your T cells and your immune system goes crazy, actually consuming anything that's not a vital part of survival. And so cancer cells do not belong. But so far what I've read is that the research actually matters. Prevention matters. Like if you have full-blown cancer, you actually don't want to maybe practice this as much because the tumors and stuff can enhance. But if you're doing a daily, like not a daily, a regular practice of like fasting too, that's a major thing for helping your body get rid of toxins. But I definitely wouldn't recommend, in the same vein as before, doing a fast if you're not a regular excreter of toxins.
Yeah, for sure. And one that just to think about is also the fact that you could do like castor oil packs and just different things like that. There's so many options and ways that you can do it. And I do plan to make a post in our Facebook group on some of those things that you could do today that are going to just help your body do that stuff naturally. So I think this is a great starting point, and who knows, we might do a part 2.
Probably need to.
Yeah, and pull Danielle in on that because she's very, very, very knowledgeable in all of this stuff, but especially the detox.
From the bottom of our hearts, we want to say thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with someone you know and leave a review. By doing so, we're able to grow this community of amazing people just like you and raise a generation of children that know God and do His will on earth. We'll see you next time.
This is the Natural Parents Podcast with Ryan and Abbie Hukin.